believe in that. I believe that you've got to believe in your principles, in what you stand for, and you can't let people, talk you out of whatever those principles stand for. My principles were be upfront, do the right thing, and it all comes back. And I've always been that way, but still, with this whole deal, it was awesome. It's like, no, we don't have to put people in a box and keep them there forever long in a day and ball and chain mentality and lock them into the box and keep them there for 45 minutes until they say I do. There are better ways of doing business. And anyway, I jumped off the cliff and I decided I'm gonna do this deal.
How long have you had your company? How long have you been an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur since 2001.
2001?
Yes.
Wow, very soon, a 20-year anniversary.
Well, there were some things that happened. In 2009, we went through the financial crisis. Does everybody remember that?
Yeah.
It got really, really ugly. And I don't really talk about this, but I think it's important that, maybe I don't know, I can share this in that I kind of decided maybe I need to do something different. Maybe I need to go jump off another cliff. And I did for a year, and no one knew anything. But the thing about that was a great experience because a dear friend of mine said, this is like college education. You can't get this else. I said, oh, okay, good. So here I am going to this big company. And I told him, I said, this reinsurance stuff is really, it's very intimidating, very intimidating. There's a lot of information that goes up about this reinsurance stuff. And I told him, I said, I don't know when it comes to reinsurance stuff. And he's like, don't worry, we're going to train you up. This is the best opportunity of a lifetime. You're going to love this. This is the college education. You're going to love this. It's very interesting. Very interesting, very intimidating year of my life. Another scar. But I learned a lot. So I know what reinsurance is all about. I know the CFCs and CFCs. I know enough to get me dangerous, right? But at least I can have an intelligent conversation with the dealer, and that just makes it really a good thing, great thing.
That's awesome. And then you went back to doing the same thing, doing the
sort of, kind of. Here's the interesting thing. I don't think a lot of people know what I really do, frankly.
What you really do?
I think they take it for granted that, oh, well, she goes in and she trains F&I people. And on the surface, I guess that's the bait, I do. But there's a lot to be said when you talk about training up the staff. And, I go into a dealership and I size up a dealership. You can't make change unless you get through the BS in the dealership. And don't get me wrong, guys, I love you, but there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in a dealership. And I don't have a lot of time. Dealer only, they're going to pay me 5 days to be in the deal. I think that it should be longer, but it's a 5-day deal. And I don't have a lot of time for a lot of nonsense. And perception is not reality. Perception is what I think is really happening versus what's really happening. So I get into the deal and I pull deals, I auto deals, because that is a real snapshot as to what's really taking place in the dealership. And it's not there to get everybody friggin' in trouble. I'm not, that's not my deal. It's just set to get through the nonsense. So that way we can make a difference and make a greater impact in the total process. And Anthony, good to see you, by the way. Mr. Anthony Santangelo is here. I love that guy. And so that's so we tackle that. So we find out what's it going to take to go ahead and put these processes together so that way we can make a greater impact. Because otherwise, if you don't have two working together, you just don't get the impact that you need. So it's everyone working in unison, right? And everyone is just as important as the next. The salesperson is just as important as the desk manager. Desk manager is just as important as F&I, and we know it. And so that's what I do really well. I put it all together. Whether they want to hear it or not, that's what I do really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And are you happy right now with your business? Is there anything that you would like to change, especially after what we went through in the past 3 months?
Well, it's been funny that you asked that question. And what did we go through in the last 3 months? And I have been on the phone. I have conducted webinars and had hundreds of people on webinars and talked to dealers. And oh my gosh, we got to do whatever it takes to get onto digital retailing. We got to make sure that we're engaging with customers earlier on in the process. We dropped the ball, Becky. And we were scrambling. We had dealers, calling up digital retailer providers. And I'm like, hold on for a second. What are you doing? I believe in the technology and helping us to engage with the customers earlier on all day long. I'm all in. But what I'm not all in with is going with a platform provider and it not aligned to what's going on in the dealership. I mean, it's never going to work that way.
Hmm.
We have to align the two together. It's got to work cohesively. Your culture has to live and breathe that you want to engage customers earlier on. You can't play this freaking game that, oh, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and provide customers information earlier on when the customer walks into the dealership. All's forgotten. Oh, we were only freaking kidding. Are you kidding me? And that too much is happening. They don't get it. The culture hasn't been changed, and that behavior has to change in
Yeah.
order for it to be successful with it. The two just got to go hand in hand. No different. Years. When I was working with the AutoNation stores, I found out, and now I feel. This is how I feel. There are no more walls. We can't have walls. If this is wherever the customer wants to engage, is where we need to engage with that customer. And wherever that is, I don't know whether or not I think that, we're going to get into a lot of home deliveries. I don't think so. But I do know one thing. Customers want to speed up the time it takes. They want to cut through the bullshit. They want to get to the payment options in advance earlier on before they make their way into a dealership. And you know what? The more informed a customer is, the better. Waiting until customers get into an F&I office to talk about these terms is just freaking old school. So here's my frustration. I'm done talking about stuff that's not going to happen. I'm done. Everyone knows what we've been through, and yet many are back to the way that it used to be. Okay, it was only a joke. We're going to get back to the way it used to be. Customers are going to come walking on the lot, and we'll just keep doing what we've always been doing. And frankly, that's what's going to happen in a lot of dealerships across the country. And that's what's frustrating. It just is mine. And I get it because been very successful the way that you've been doing business over the years. Why would you change? You don't change unless you have to. Unless there's a pain involved, get pain or gain. Why else do you change? But in the real world, this is where it's happening in the trenches. Unless it starts at the top and the dealer says this is the way it's going to go down, it's not going to change. They're kidding themselves. I'm not going to put a digital retailing platform on my website, and if it's not, and not make sure that it's aligning to what we're doing in the dealership.
Yeah, this is so important. And don't you think that we've reached a point where it is a condition now to do business? You have to change, especially when during that lockdown, dealers were forced to do appointment only and to do video communication and to do a lot of quoting online. So I think we've reached that point because there's a lot less tire kickers. That's what makes it still possible in some areas of the country, like you said, some dealers are operating like it's 1995, and there's enough people that are making it real. It's not as busy as 1995. It's not as busy as 2005. It's not as busy as 2015. But there are still people that would go in the dealership and not have much information. So it still works. It doesn't work as often, but still works. And those dealers are hoping with nostalgia that those times will last longer. And me and you are thinking, why are they doing that? Why are they not adapting? Why are they not transforming by choice?
Because they don't have to.
Yeah.
Why do I have to? I've been very successful doing business a certain way. I don't need to.
Have you had some
And
clients?
they don't need to. I mean, you have customers that aren't changing their behaviors. So until the customer changes their behaviors, there's no reason why they should change. Or they're going to change, or they should change. I mean, they should offer non-traditional, traditional options. I mean, that's what I talk about all the time. I'm like, what the hell? Why not?
Have you seen some clients or some strong dealer groups that are thinking about folding or selling because they had rough 3 months? Because
I think there's some major frustrations out there, sure. But they were going to fold 6 months beforehand. Be honest with you. I mean, their head wasn't in the game anyway, right? And so they were looking to sell anyway. But here again, if your head's not in the game now, I mean, if you're not thinking 3 years, 5 years into the future, this isn't going away. It's
right.
As much as everyone thinks, oh, okay, business as usual. Let's go out. Let's have fun. Here we go. We're back to normal. It's all good. I'm going into grocery stores still, and everybody else is wearing a mask. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm thinking, oh, do I need to wear a mask?
Yeah, I think that this is not going away for a long time. And besides that, I've been talking to a lot of different businesses during this too, because my business, I lost a lot of clients in the beginning. In-house sales training, I had to go to dealerships, so I had a lot of accounts that got postponed and canceled, and let's talk about it after we go back to normal. And I don't think we're going back to normal. So I did communicate with a lot of different businesses, and there's a lot of businesses that are not prepared for this shift. And just like you said, this is not going away anytime soon. So people really need to focus on their reputation online and just the whole online experience. What are some of the mistakes that you wish you could have avoided in your business? Some things that you could have proactively see before this happened, so you could be pandemic proof.
Well, we all think that it's like Bill Gates. I think it was Bill Gates. Might have been, might be not Bill, but he was talking about boiling the frog, the frog, and I love the analogy in we're all this frog, and they start off with a little lukewarm water, and then they don't realize that they're getting boiled. And so I think that's what ends up happening, right? So we don't realize that we're kind of getting boiled to death, and meanwhile, that's exactly what ends up happening. And in my business, I felt as if I fell off. That I was so assured that the training aspect was so important. And it really is. Don't get me wrong. It really, truly is. I mean, that's the end game. If the end game is making sure that when you're in the dealerships, you're able to bring that dealer impact, right? And believe me when I tell you, I know it inside and out. There's nobody that knows it better than me. And maybe that's another problem for another discussion. But I would say the residual, bringing in the residual is so important.
Yeah.
More dealers are telling me today, I don't need your training. And the reason why I don't is because I get my training for free. And I'm like, I guess you get you pay for what you get.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing in dealerships, and not with everyone, not with every provider out there, and God knows there's a lot of great providers that offer amazing training, but not everyone.
Specifically
And
for F&I, a lot of those companies do charge the dealer. They just don't tell them. It's part of the
yeah,
package. So they do pay for the training. They just say it's included, but included doesn't mean you don't pay for it.
they
It means
don't realize what they don't realize. And some are paying a whole heck of a lot more than what they need to be paying or should be paying for it. And then, but for the longest time, that was a model that worked for me. And dealers, I didn't have to compete with the insurance providers, and nor did I want to. But I feel today I changed my mind because that was probably not the best move. I should provide the dealer with the very best in products and offering dealers the very best when it comes to the reinsurance side of business, because at the end of the day, it's all about profit and making a greater impact for the dealer. So I was short-sighted, and I should have changed my thought process on that sooner.
so you would recommend, and I think that's a lesson that I learned as well, that MRR, the monthly recurring revenue, is so critical for any business.
Sure it is. And let's not kid ourselves. And you're out there constantly banging on the pavement, right? You get your deal and then it's gone in 3 months. Dealers don't like writing a check. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't matter how successful you've helped them. Their agent, there's somebody in that dealership that's saying, boss, you don't need this. Let me show you what I've got. Here's another agent. Here's somebody else. And that's what they see, unfortunately. They don't see what you're able to bring to the table, and they don't see that you're outside of politics. And I think that in of itself is huge. I can tell you how many times and here again, agents don't like this shit. I mean, I go in because I audit and I tell a dealer, here's the deal, here's what's going on. And of course, the agent's upset because the agent didn't do their due diligence. They went ahead and they picked up products at the end of the month, and that was about it. And the last thing they want to do is have a candid conversation with a general manager or dealer and going, oh, by the way, let's talk about what's really happening in your dealership, because that conversation won't happen. You know why? I don't have to tell you why. You know why.
Yeah.
They're going to get kicked out of the dealership. GM's like, I ain't putting up with this crap. No way. You threw me under the bus. All I care about is trying to help a dealer to get the biggest impact that they can in their process, presentation efforts, products, and reinsurance. Yeah. So
We talked a lot about the naysayers in our previous conversation, and I really want to talk about that because I truly support women in business and women in automotive. I just think women are much better, not much better, but they're a little more organized. They get a lot more referrals. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of female students, and they really, jump in, and they're not as scared, believe it or not, to try new things. So you've been challenged as a female salesperson in male dominated industry, and then you chose to consult that male dominated industry, and you're obviously a very good looking lady. So how do you prove to those non believers and naysayers that there's behind the cover, behind that beautiful lady, there's an expert, and there's someone who can actually show them how to make more money?
Really, it's in the conversation, it's in the workshop, it's in that workshop environment, it's in that in dealership training, because they're gonna test you. I mean, of course they're gonna test you, and it's like, I can't wait for you to test me, because once you test me, boy, let me tell you something, you're in freaking trouble. And they quite get it. They're like, holy shit, she actually knows what she's talking about. I'm not used to this. You're
Yeah.
not supposed to know what you're talking about. I'm like, let me tell you something. I would never be up here. Here's funny. here's the truth. I would have never thought in a million years that I would be a speaker ever on a stage ever, that I would be up in front of people training F&I. I knew I was damn good in F&I, and I was like, bring me the customer. Let me tell you what, I can close this deal. I got this. Don't even worry about it. They're like, Becky's got this. We're all good here. So, but never in the wildest of imagination did I ever thought that I would have the guts to get up and speak in front of a group, let alone conducting workshops and being in front of NCM and NADA. That is tough. That's not easy. And these guys are asking questions, man. They are drilling you. So here's the thing. You better know your stuff. You know your stuff. And that's okay. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. I know more than what you know. And I've been blessed because I've been in the seat. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I've been in dealerships all over the country. I've been in Canada. I've been all over. I get it. How many hundreds of freaking dealerships do I have to be in before you realize I get what I'm doing? And so this is why I'm always one to preach the interview. Now I know it's like, oh my gosh, you called it the interview. I don't care what you call it. Call it the meet and greet for all I care. But we need to meet the customer earlier on. And I can tell you how many times these guys wait till we trip her up. We're going to trip her up. We're going to show her a thing or two who she thinks she is, this freaking trainer in our dealership. And meanwhile, it's like, okay, you go ahead, you do whatever you got to do. But I'm doing the interview. And when I do the interview, I know what I got. So nobody can trip me up. And I know that's saying a lot, but that's the truth. So when you've been there and you've done it, kind of hard to be able to trip. It's kind of hard to go ahead and put me on the spot.
Yeah. So you were very confident.
But it's often due to ignorance, not because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've experienced the same thing. Yes. Not only that, everything that I talk about, it comes from experience. Not only that, I sold 3,000 cars in 7 years, but I put them all on social media. They're all on YouTube. I collect testimonial from each and every client, and written reviews, and I still have to prove myself to those that never even thought about achieving results like that. So I've been to 100 dealers at the same time.
If you were any good, you would be in the seat right now.
Yeah,
I can tell you how many times I've heard that one, right?
I'd love to be challenged. I'd love to be challenged just like you. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a problem with that. And I could be in any seat I want. But I chose to have a much bigger reach out there. And how do you know, like, we have a very similar story, but you were obviously very confident business manager. You probably believed more in your product than anyone else, and you used a system that worked every time. So how did you know that you had the right idea about forming a consulting agency, especially when so many naysayers were not trying to give you courage, but the opposite?
I just decided, you know what? I know this deal. I know this inside and out. You got to know my history. Again, starting from selling cars when no one said I could sell cars and trucks and, that sort of stuff. I mean, it was a lot different then than it is today, right? There's some acceptance today. There was no acceptance.
No political correct.
Being in the car business. Give me a freaking break. And, so when I got into F&I, it was like, I don't know. I guess this blonde can make it. I don't know. Give her a shot. She'll do it. But, earning my stripes, man. I mean, I did. I took every freaking opportunity and I never looked back. And then from there, as a director of finance for large automotive groups in the Washington, D.C. area, that's where I'm from. And you know what? Even then I thought, man, I really know my stuff. I'm really in something else then. And then you realize, holy shit, I went with, I actually ran a Saturn dealership too, and that was something else. That was a lot of fun. And then when you're hired by this other company, you're all over dealerships all over the United States. I've got a lot of freaking experience, just like you. I mean, I don't come across, you don't do this stuff unless you've been around. I mean, are you kidding me? So I am in hundreds of freaking dealerships, working my butt off, taking deals. I mean, you don't earn the right unless you've done it. So that's what I think. So from there, yeah, because I jumped off that cliff, and I know what I'm doing, and I did know what I was doing. I owned it. It was like, this is my gut instinct. Come hell or high water, I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but I'm going to make this thing work. And sometimes it's either pain or gain, man. It's pain or gain, and it's life's mission, I guess, right? It's this passion inside of you that says, no, I'm not giving up. No, I'm not giving up. And I don't know. So it worked. I found that my box just got bigger. Can I say it that way? Because without sounding weird, my box got bigger, meaning, I was really good with a customer, right? I was great with a customer. I was able to close down a customer, bring them on, but my box got bigger in my workshops, and, talking to these guys about how this menu selling works and the concept behind it and the real stuff that went behind it to really help them be successful made me successful.
That's awesome.
Because they could understand it. I don't want someone doing something they don't get.
Mm-hmm.
I would never ask you to do something just because. I don't believe in that. I believe, talk to me. I want to hear what you have to say. Like my workshops are a lot of fun because they're interactive. People want to talk about, well, I don't believe in this. I believe in box closing. I believe in this and I believe in that. Fine, let's talk through this. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about box closing versus menu selling. Let's really bring it out. And I'm not going to go ahead and bring somebody down because they disagree with me. I want to look, if in fact people aren't disagreeing with you, you'll never agree with you. So I want to hear what you have to say. And that's what made it brilliant. That's what made it fun. I mean, these guys will tell you, man, she tore me up and then some. But
I love what you said.
That's the fun. Not to tear people. I tear people up to bring them back up. No, but I want to hear what you have to say. I really want to hear it. I don't want to ignore it, and that's what makes all the difference in the world.
I love what you say, that it's important for your students to understand, not just for you to drill something in their head, but it's important for them to understand. And I'm on the same boat. It's not about word tracks, it's not about techniques, it's about understanding why, and then build your own process if you truly understand. So how did you handle adversity and doubt? Because I'm sure you've had some adversity, and you probably had some self-doubt during those years and some self-sabotage during some of the tough times. So how do you handle that so you never give up?
Well, this is where, again, you've got to have your resources, and you have to have your mentors, and you have to have the place to fill back up, right? Mm-hmm. And there are moments, I'm not going to tell you that there are not moments in my life that I was empty, and it was like, what am I going to do? And where do I go from here? But there are people in your life, not many, that there's a reservoir there, right? And I know in a heartbeat second, there's a few good people I can call on who I do. And I'm like, I need your help. There are books and there's certain ones that Think and Grow Rich that, I go back to endlessly. Time after time. These are the reservoirs that Tony Robbins, to tell you, he's amazing, right? And so I'm always trying to tap into something that of a higher power. And I always believe, go towards the light. See, there's Anthony.
Anthony is always
Always, but you got to go. You got to go to always towards the light, and it's easy to get sucked in
yeah.
to the darkness. But I always remembered a friend of mine says, and I was in, where was I? In New Orleans. They said, Beck, whatever you do, always go towards the light. So I tell you, as tough can be, and it gets tough. Like my son passed away, right? That was really tough, really tough.
I'm so sorry you had to go.
But you got to go to the reservoir. And that's the thing, or otherwise it can suck you up and drive, and which is no good. So there's some good people out there. Anthony Santangelo is always there for Becky. Some good people in my life that I can count on, and I know. So I'm very fortunate in that case because they're few and far between. And the books are always endless. Go there. YouTube and endless. Go there.
I celebrate your strength, and I'm so sorry about what you had to go through. How do you plan on growing your business?
Well, here's the thing. I had to make that decision. I had to jump off another cliff. And, with this COVID and thing, and I know some of you guys are probably going, I know, it really is horrible, the COVID virus thing. I mean, can I ask you a question? When did you ever have 3 months off ever in your life? I don't remember ever having, and I'm not saying that I was off. I mean, I was constantly going. Everybody knows I was doing something. I was on webinars. I was this, I was that. I was constantly, because I can't just, sit back on my porch.
No, I was not off. I did not relax for 1 minute. I don't know. I know there are some people that literally took a vacation, but I don't see it that way at all.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's like, I don't know. I hope that people had taken the time, the 3 months, the 4 months ago, I don't know. I remember driving back on March 15th from Michigan. I didn't want to fly. And it was funny because I'm working with a dealership group there, and I'm at a hotel. They're like, oh, well, the restaurants are closing up. And I'm like, they are? Like, are you kidding me? How many people here at the hotel? Well, not.
In Vegas. Vegas, the whole strip closed down. It was like in the movies. It was so depressing.
It was freaking messed up is what it was. It was really messed up. And I drove home. I'm like, I'm not flying. I'm going to drive home. It was not that bad, 10-hour drive, but I'd rather drive than fly. It's just like, sorry, but I'm not doing it. I'm just not. And I'm not that brave. So I felt that I didn't want to, deal with all the nonsense and stuff, but I don't know. So I hope that people have taken this 3 months and made something worthy, from it, right? My worthiness is thinking, okay, I got this. You know what? Are you looking for a new F&I partner? Because I'm at. Because you know what? I'm over it. I don't want to go. I'm done going in your dealership for a month to 2 months. I have no magic pill. Don't even bother. I don't even want it. I don't want that deal. Go give it to somebody else. Go give it to, I don't care. But if you're serious about making a difference in your dealership, then I want to talk to you. Other than that, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm over it. How do you like that?
You're focused on long-term agreement, though.
I am focused on long-term success. There is no such thing as a magic bullet no, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore because it doesn't make any sense. I am done listening to some guy telling me, or a girl could have told me that, but a guy, wait until you're in my underwear for 24 years. And I said, sir, let me explain the facts of life to you. You don't ever have to worry about me being in your underwear. That's for sure. So That's the truth, right? And I'm over it. It's like, Mr. Dealer, here's the thing. If you're ready for success, I'm here to help you. I will make sure you have the best products, the best reinsurance, that you're not being taken advantage of. Believe me when I tell you, you think I don't have resources? Of course I have freaking, I've been doing this since 2001. What the frick's wrong with you people? I have better resources than that kid walking in your dealership right now who's drinking. Are you kidding me? He might be 3 or 4 years in a box. Give me a freaking break. Who's walking into your dealership and trying to train up your staff, and they're like, there's no buy-in. Who are you kidding? So I'm like, okay, fine. This is it, or I don't want it. So go do whatever you do and have fun doing it, but you're not doing it with me anymore. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's good. That's good. So you're saying the 3 months shifted your thinking, changed your mindset.
I just feel like I'm done wasting time.
Yeah.
People are not willing to do what it takes to make a difference. I'm done babysitting. I'm over it. If you want to make a difference, I'm willing to make a difference. But if you're not willing to make a difference, it's not me. I don't want to do it. Life's too short.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. So, do you have a team? Do you operate by yourself, or do you have some people helping you out in your
I
business?
have some people helping me out. I have some resources, though. I don't have this staffed office, but I don't need a staffed office. I have enough consultants, raring to go, whatever it takes, that are going to do things the right way, right?
Nice.
We have the right feet on the ground with the right training on the ground to make things happen. But again, until a dealer decides, you know what, I'm over it. I want something better. I want something better. That my whole campaign is all about the F&I partner, a new F&I partner, a better F&I partner,
I wanted
to get impact. So that's what I'm doing.
I wanted to leave the remaining time for the naysayers, for your favorite topic, and I really wish we can package some bullet points, some tips on how to avoid the naysayers, how to overcome what they're saying, because we do get affected by them emotionally. Sometimes when we're lonely, when we don't have those people around us that are charging us with positive energy, the people that give us courage, the reservoirs you're talking about, when they're not around, naysayers could get to us because it has an emotional effect. And if we don't feel the right way, if we don't feel joy, we rarely take action. So we could freeze if we listen to the naysayers. What are some good tips that you could give our viewers right now? Because no one is really bulletproof from that.
To give car dealers? Is that
not car dealers, but anyone who's watching? How do you overcome the naysayers? How do you overcome the doubters in your life? How do you not get affected by it? How do you not let those statements to go into your heart? Because a lot of people take it, it has an emotional effect. And if we don't feel the right way, we don't take action. We freeze up. And sometimes when there's not enough courage around you, when those people that you qualified as reservoirs, those people that help you, give you fuel when you need it, when you feel empty, when they're not around you, sometimes when you feel lonely, you could be surrounded by naysayers, and they could affect you emotionally. So I know that you wanted to talk about that, and I really wish we could end this conversation with giving our viewers some valuable tips, some good secrets that and you can share with the audience, so they could be prepared for those moments, because those moments will come, and no one is bulletproof from naysayers. They're everywhere, and they're a lot more than the guys and gals that give us courage and believe in us, right?
Well, you're right. And so it's a matter of passion, and it's a matter of believing in yourself, and it's a matter, and there isn't, gosh, I don't know if this is it's my answer is it's the inner power that I have, the belief system and who I am and what I'm all about. Once I make a decision, I go all in, right? Now I can't say that I haven't, and it's not a good idea to review the plan. Always review the plan. One of the things that I talk about, with the managers coming in, is the plan. What is your plan? How do you sustain that plan? And and I think when you have a plan that you're reviewing on a consistent basis, how do you sustain it? How do you make this work? What's the end result? That helps to ground you. You have to be grounded. If you're flighty, if you're just making decisions off of the cuff, oh, that freaking feels good for the day. I kind of like that shit. I'm feeling good. Oh, yay. Well, I can have those sugar highs too. But is that sustainable? And is that a plan that you can actually be consistent with? And you got to size it up, right? Now, I had a lot of success a certain way. And that's kind of where I made the biggest mistake. Now, it's not to say that there are people that I met that said, hey, Beth, you need residual, as far as the product side. And I kind of fought it tooth and nail. Well, I don't want to be the trunk monkey. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. Well, maybe, hindsight, right? But life isn't perfect. We're going to make mistakes. You're going to make them. Get over it. Jump over the hurdle. Go for it. We are going to make mistakes. And you know what? It hurts. It freaking hurts when you make a stupid mistake, because we are our choices. And I wish the hell I could tell you that, it does, some bad choices happen and it sucks. But if in fact you come up with a plan and you've got to look at it and you've got to be on it, and you've got to size it up, and is it sustainable? Will it pay the bills? I mean, how does that all work? Plan it out, visualize it, really gain impact, really see it as something that's happening today. And be very conscientious of it. And it will develop, it will happen. But again, it's not going to happen off the freaking cuff, off the sugar highs, off the coffee, feeling good the next day. Holy shit, I got this. What do you have? You have nothing. What's it based off of? Do you have a plan, and is it sustainable? And that, my friend, helps you to stay grounded.
Yeah.
Through tough times. And there are going to be times that you do need to review it. I would tell someone to review their plan. I do. Yeah, I do. I think,
especially right now, in these times of uncertainty. By the way, what's your personal projection on how the second half of the year is going to unfold? What do you expect as far as changes? Any radical changes? What's your personal projection?
oh gosh, oh my, it's too much going on right now, and I'm not. And so, excuse me. I know how I feel about certain things, about politics, and I'm going to keep to myself on that. Doesn't make me any less of a person, less strong. But as far as the car business goes, I hope that things continue, that we open up the economy. And by opening up the economy and being smart by it, do our due diligence, make sure that, If they're asking us to wear a mask, wear a freaking mask. If they're asking you to wash your freaking hands, wash your hands. If you're vulnerable to underlying illness, do something about it. And be mindful, right? I mean, I don't like these people not being mindful or respectful, right? I mean, we all have to live. So be mindful and do what we've got to do to make this country. Let's open up this country. Let's open up the economy. Let's get these dealerships open and running, and let's go. And I mean, I see a lot of positives happening, and so we need to open up the country. I would love to see more dealers really embracing more of the digital retailing aspect, in that we're engaging customers earlier on. The day, bringing a customer, have a customer coming into a dealership appointment without fact finding and getting a customer on a car to put a customer on another car to take them on another I think that those days they need to be over. I think we can take and shorten the time, and it's already proven. Although the volume was down in many of these dealerships, the profits were up. Why do you suppose that happened? Granted, might have had some OEMs, subvented programs, that sort of stuff, but actually we're taking the time with each and every one of our customers, and that is helping to gain a greater impact with our customers, and probably have more information earlier on before the customer makes their way into a dealership, like I've been preaching about ever since I don't even know.
Yeah. We've been preaching about it for many, many years, and those businesses that made that choice are running with 100 miles per hour right now, and the businesses that are pretending that it's 1998 are still hoping and praying that things go back to normal so they can pick up clients from the ceiling, and start
Floor
high.
traffic is not it, kiddos. I mean, I'm telling you that right now. I tell salespeople all day long, if you do not have social media, you're dead in the water. Do not bank your living off of customers walking in off the lot. You have got to develop that social media. I try to turn them on to the best in the sales industry and make sure that they see that I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making this up. So how do we do a better job in embracing that? How do we do a better job in training our salespeople up and creating that ambassador and promoting from within is really, really essential today, more so than ever before. Let's reduce the turnover in these dealerships. Let's stop the madness, for crap's sake. Why can't we work smarter? Why do we always have to work freaking harder? Let's just shoot from our hip, and every freaking time you do, you only take the deal much longer than what it necessarily needs to take. And you know what? We're not maximizing our profits because of it. Happens all the time. Just does. So, right? Why can't we do the right thing? A lot of on the right car to begin with, rather than, I don't know, all this nonsense.
A lot of people were projecting that there's going to be the death of the car salesman, the death of the finance person, because of the digital retailing. And many people were arguing that it's probably going to be faster and easier if dealers adapt to the Amazon type of selling. And when people purchase their car online, the suggestions of F&I products will have a higher closing ratio. So other people bought this extended warranty, other people bought the paint protection, and many dealers tried that.
Mm-hmm.
The human interaction is still important for the information sake of it. A lot of people, even if they read the information, they don't feel confident they understand it. So what's your projection? Do you think that the salesperson is going away? Do you think a version of the salesperson is going away? And do you think the F&I person is going away anytime soon?
Okay, well, you got diehards out there. I mean, they'll be there forever long in the day. However long it takes, I'm going to keep this. So it's something that, hey, by the way, things aren't changing. We're happy the way that business is and the way that we're doing our business. So, excuse me, we're not going to change up. However, you have on the other side, you have other earlier adopters who do see the benefit in training up the salesperson that's in actually attracting and hiring better candidates to begin with and training them up as an ambassador type of sales associate where they're not only and not only is not about, I mean, a product specialist, but that product specialist can also be able to present a menu and or a waiver decline and be able to address and overcome a customer concern with regard to a product because they know something more about that customer and the value that that product can bring to the customer. And especially during the walk around and test drive of the technology components and that sort of stuff, right? How much, and is it easier to explain the benefit behind a service contract and or the benefit of, oh, you definitely want to see how this tire and wheel product works, right? So yeah, if in fact we introduce or where a customer has the ability to have some fact-finding self-desking earlier on in advance before they make their way into a dealership, they even have the ability to determine products in advance. Okay, so we're going to finalize some of the terms by the time the customer comes in. All right, and then the customer has we're going to test drive, maybe validate the trade-in, that sort of stuff. And what's there more to do? And then, we present our waiver and decline and a digital menu. And then, we finalize the transaction. And perhaps maybe, the second eye is that manager coming out and reviewing the transaction to assure that it's correct. And then maybe making that one last ditch effort. Oh, by the way, I noticed that you didn't take advantage of this. And I'm sure Tom went over this or that. That's it. So much faster.
That's right. That's right. So, in closing, would you share something positive for our viewers, for those that are a little uncertain right now? Can you give them some of your positive attitude, some love, some words of encouragement?
It always gets better. The cream always rises to the top, right? And here's the thing: you just got to know that if you go all in, if you do what you're supposed to do, if you got a plan, you have a goal, and you write your goals, and you're consistent with whatever that process is, each and every single day, you can't go wrong. You just cannot go wrong. You just got to stick to your guns. The people that aren't as successful, they question they question themselves. They don't follow a plan. They're not consistent. They shoot from their hip. If there's anything I can, out of anything tonight, you do. Stick with a plan. Be consistent with that plan no matter what. No matter what. Practice, drill, rehearse. Have your stuff videotaped. Watch yourself. Presentation is key. Know your products inside and out. Be the king, be the queen. Never go in with doubt. Always go in with confidence. Know your stuff. And I promise you, if you have that skill set, nobody can take anything away from you. Promise you that. But know your stuff. Know it inside and out. Study, practice, drill, rehearse, videotape yourself. Know yourself and know your stuff. And never go into a deal haphazardly, and be consistent. And always with passion and kindness.
So important. Passion and kindness. Thank you so much, Becky, for coming to the Paradigm Shift tonight. You're an amazing inspiration to a lot of men and women in automotive. A lot of executives must be listening to you and they must be working with you for partnership opportunities. How can people get a hold of you? How can people hire you? And what should they expect from you in order to work with you?
Well, first of all, I think it really deserves a conversation. Feel free to either email me at bchernik@gmail.com, Chernik, bchernik@gmail.com, or feel free to call me at 404-276-4026. And you know what? I want a 15, 20-minute conversation. Am I going 15, 20 minutes? That's what I want. And then from there, we'll find out if we are actually in alignment or not. I don't want to I don't want to work with you, frankly, if we're not in alignment. And we'll find out within 15, 20 minutes. I mean, I'm not going to waste your time. I don't want you to waste my time. Like I said, if you're willing to do what it takes to move mountains, then I'm the person you want to work with. If that's like too much for you, then go with your guy from whoever. I don't know. You don't want me, and that's it. I mean, I'm looking for a certain pumpkin, and not all the pumpkins qualify anymore. So, and maybe I don't know, but I feel like I'm deserving of that. I'm done with the weak people. I'm done with having to convince people this is the right way of doing business. And not to say that, I can't encourage a better way of doing business, but if that's not your culture to be upfront and transparent and doing the right thing, I'm not the one to go into your store and try to tell your people that, oh, by the way, you're breaking the law. You need to figure that out. I'm the wrong person for that. So that's the thing.
But everybody does it, But everybody does it, right? That's what they say when you tell them they're breaking the law.
I'm so done with that. I am so done with the fact that and you know what? Okay, then go break the law. I don't know what to tell you. Go ahead. You don't need me. I'm not about breaking the law. My tagline has always been, you don't have to break laws to break records.
That's right.
And you know what? I can be upfront. I can be consistent. My skill set's there. I don't need to hide or cheat to steal to sell a product. And if that's what you need to do, and believe me, there's enough out there that are, you and I we're not meant to be together. It's just that simple. And I wish I would have thought, not to say, I just feel like I probably should have fired a few dealers along the way.
Yeah.
And I know it's like our bread and butter, but it's like, you know what? I'm not here to beg you. I'm over it. If you can't figure this out by now, who you've got, then we don't belong together. We just don't. Life is too short. So I want to work with a dealer who sees me as a benefit, and we're ready to go ahead and move mountains and do what it takes to make things happen. Mr. Gwatney, I will tell you a story real quick, if you don't mind. But Bill Gwatney, he calls me up and he goes, okay, how long is this going to take for us to get any changes around here if I bring you in? I said, Bill, now that's a great question. I said, it can take about a year, 6 months to a year, because, to get buy-in and stuff and get these guys doing what they need to be doing. I mean, I don't mind trying to get buy-in if that's what you want to do. Or you have to let them know, hey, this is the bus I want to be on. You're going to be on this bus, or you can get off the bus, because that's what's going to happen, because they're going to bellyache. And they're going to say, hey, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. And you as the dealer have to make a decision. How do you want to do this?
That's awesome.
And he made that decision. And let me tell you something. It wasn't 3 weeks later, he's calling me up, and he's going, Becky, we need to do something about this pay plan. They were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great end of our conversation. Thank you so much. Hi, Becky. I'm sure we're going to have you again on the show. It was such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, Becky. It was amazing. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of The Paradigm Shift. It was an amazing pleasure to have Becky on the show. I'm sure that you guys enjoyed it as well. She's the real deal. speaking of dealers and potential opportunities for dealers, I've been working on a social selling course that I believe is the best one out there, and it's super relevant for what's going on right now. So I'd love to share more information about it if you're a dealer, if you're a business owner, period, and if you're in sales or if you're in business and you need a better understanding of how to get more clients, how to earn more referrals, how to get more people to come back to your business, I'd love to talk to you. And if you want to check out the social selling course, go to velco.co, velko.co. It was a pleasure to be with you. I will see you again next Thursday, and we're going to have another episode of the Paradigm Shift. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next Thursday.